you about somebody who feels like they are getting some bad karma for how they treated you. I feel like God is punishing me. And then we also have my pride and ego got the best of me. I think this is someone who has been told on a number of occasions that they were not treating people the way that they should be. I think this is someone who likes to blame other people for the issues that happen. But the connection or the relationship, maybe for some of you this is a friendship, between the two of you has really underscored the fact that they are not acting right. So I feel like you're kind of a karma personified, and you've really shown this person they need to be working on this. They need to understand other people's perspectives. Otherwise, they're going to continue to get not so happy karmic outcomes. So let's call on spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. You can find it in the description box along with more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. You can also find a link to my Etsy shop if you are interested in a homemade soy candle. And let's dive in. Hello, Jamaica. How are we doing today? Let's see. I'm feeling pulled towards the Sola Busca, which is interesting because this one is a little bit heavy. It tends to deal with the people like that really have some serious lessons to learn. Hello, Key Controller. Hello, Nat. How we doing? Happy Monday. I think I'm gonna regret wearing a t-shirt because it's supposed to be really hot today. We'll see. All right, so we have, oh, I should get the book. Hold on a second. I know I'm going to need it. So this is Judgment, and if I recall, I wonder if this is actually the Nero card. Can you see it? We have a tower falling in the background, but we do have number 20 called out. So this says Nimbrato, which is Nimrod. That's who it is. In the Divine Comedy, Dante calls him Nembrot, accusing him of having caused the confusion of languages and punishing him in hell by making it impossible for him to communicate. He is Nimrod, who is, according to biblical tradition, the founder of a powerful empire in Babylonia, whose nucleus was the city of Babel. Probably to him is owed the construction of the tower that instigated the whole world to rebel against the sovereignty of God by proudly erecting an instrument with which to overcome the same divine highness. Oh, I feel like God is punishing me. My pride and ego got the best of me. And here we have someone who was literally famous for being so proud that they created an instrument to overcome God. Okay. On the card, the personage tries to defend himself from the divine wrath represented by the tongue of fire, then descends from above, however uselessly, as the punishment has already destroyed the haughtily built tower. Wow, I have never in my life pulled some cards that are so directly connected. I feel like God is punishing me. My pride and ego got the best of me, and we have Nimrod. Okay, that's fantastic. Let's see what else we've got. So literally being attacked by God. Wow, this is heavy for a Monday morning. Hello, Shayla. How are you doing? Oh, goodness. That's rough. Whew. Okay, so we also have Nebuchadnezzar. Wow, this is the World card, which is immediately following Judgment. Okay, so where are we? Nebuchadnezzar was a Babylonian ruler of the 7th century BCE, remembered above all for the conquest and destruction of Jerusalem and Solomon's temple. This card is probably inspired by one of the king's 2 dreams interpreted by the prophet Daniel and reported in the biblical books dedicated to him, where the king, dreaming of a loss of wealth and sovereignty, gains faith, opening his eyes to the true God of the universe. In the traditional triumphs, card 21 is the world, here represented by the starry globe above the peacefully dormant body of Nebuchadnezzar. Can you see it? With rings spread across it, the griffin, rings? You mean wings? The griffin, in its dual nature of lion and eagle, becomes, according to the late medieval interpretation, the figure of Christ in his human and divine nature. Here put dividing the starry globe into 4, in place of the 4 evangelists, eternal custodians of the divine word. Wow. Okay, so basically we have someone who is getting taught a pretty difficult lesson because their ego was the size of Texas. And in order to learn that, there is some destruction that happens to this person's life, their plans, what they thought they were going to get. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that they felt like they could plan everything, or everything was going to go exactly the way that they wanted it to, or they could manipulate or control others around them. They were definitely quite proud and haughty. H-A-U-G-H-T-Y, not the H-O-T-T-I-E. All right, let's get a few from the Visconti de Moderne. Hello, Amy. How are you doing? Hello, 8-Bit. How's your day? So what else do we need to know about this person with a giant ego? We have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse and the Wheel of Fortune. So someone who has felt like they had everything on their side, or like they were winning, they're now seeing that things are not as great as they expected, or they are not going to be victorious as they once assumed. Pride goeth before the fall. Wow, and then we have Hierophant. So look, I don't often see the Hierophant as God. The Hierophant can also be seen as a boss or a mentor. It can be like a symbol for a relationship like marriage. But since we have several references already, I do feel like this is someone who's basically being called to reconsider their morals, their beliefs, and, you know, take a seat because they thought that they were quite important. Well, I hope the day goes well for you. Hello, Dreams. How you doing? What else do we have? The 10 of Cups, 4 of Swords in the reverse, and the Knight of Cups. So there's an offer coming to this proud individual, but it's an offer that happens after some destruction. So it's like after someone loses a wrestling match, the winning opponent offers their hand like, hey, let me pick you up, let me help you up. Or even the good game handshake after, you know, the victory has been announced. This is someone saying, okay, now that we've established who's the boss here, would you like a little bit of assistance rebuilding? Now that you've, you know, lost and been reminded who is boss, let me show you some of my kindness. Let me show you how we can do things differently going forward. But you have to keep in mind that I'm in charge here. Wow. So we have the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups in the reverse. Which to me makes me think of like, would you rather have, if you were a leader, would you rather have them fear you or love you? Good catch there, Dreams. I love typo negative. Black Number One would be my favorite song of theirs. But yes, good catch. So we have kindness after destruction. We have kindness after someone feels like they lost. Which could be, you know, the relationship is over, you're gonna have to find a new place to live, but if you want to keep the big screen TV, go for it. You know, if we were to make this like a modern interpretation, the divorce is still gonna happen, but you can have the bike, you can have the couch. Let's make this a little bit, you know, let's try to find some peace after all of this chaos. Hello, Lovey. How are you doing? Oh, this is heavy. All right, let's get a few more. We're going to go with, oh, I don't know. We just used that one, though, didn't we? We're going to go with the Noisy Tarot. Oh, thank you, 8-Bit. Let me add that for you. What is in store for me this week? That's a good way to approach it, Shayla. Yes. Being petty might be real fun or, you know, get some points, but extending that kindness, I think, shows that you are the bigger person, right? Hello, Delinia. How are you doing? So we have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, a major loss hitting the Fool because they felt like they were in charge or they felt like they were, you know, top dog. Now, for some of you, this is literally, you know, about someone's struggle with their faith and their identity, and we do have a reference to God. But we could also have a kind of smaller world interpretation here where someone was maybe acting up when the boss was away. If you've ever had, you know, like the store manager out on vacation, so the assistant manager takes over, or maybe the owner of the company was dealing with a medical event, so, you know, the wife stepped in or something. Sometimes we have self-important individuals who are granted like the keys to the city temporarily and they go a little bit crazy or like drunk on power. I remember such a situation in my career where someone was clearly not ready to be in charge, and it was just like, wow, dude, are you trying to get everybody to hate you? Because that's a good way to do it. And they ended up getting fired. This is like, you know, someone is taking things way beyond where they should. Empress in the reverse, there's a lack of empathy or compassion for others. And with the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, there is like a disregard or a lack of care. If you listen to your intuition, it would guide you to like work with people as opposed to looking down on them, right? That's a good way to view it. Never look down on someone unless you're helping them up. I like that. I'm sorry your mom went through that. It's so important that we address those things so that the next generation doesn't have to deal with that trauma, right? Hello, Omar. Feel free to put your question in a super chat and I will add it to the list. We've got about another 20 minutes of the general reading and then I'll start personal questions. Hello, Joaquin. How are you doing? Hello, Bree. Hello, Mark. In my particular situation, Bree, no, this would not have been recently, but as far as the reading, if it's resonating for you, take it how it resonates. I would think this is recent or in the near future. But my readings are meant to be timeless. So with that Four of Wands in the reverse and the Two of Wands, we had someone who's making grandiose plans or felt like they could, you know, take over, or they were going to be in charge, realizing that in fact, no, they're being demoted or fired, or they're not going to have what they envisioned having. Hello, Seymour, what's up? Three of Wands in the reverse. Page of Pentacles in the reverse. So now what I'm seeing is, I think it was the original Kill Bill, but it might be the second. When the dude with the hat, he's working at the Dancing Ladies Club, and the boss is mad at him. So he's like, let's look at the calendar. Do you work Monday? No. You work Tuesday? That's weird. You don't work Tuesday either. What about Wednesday? Nope, don't see you on that schedule either. Thursday? Nah. This is someone who is seeing what they had built or what they had accrued disappearing, or they're just losing it because their attitude was crap. Because somebody with more power than them is like, I see what you're trying to do and I don't like it. I'm not a fan of how self-important you are. Let's just keep in mind that I'm actually the owner of the company, or I'm the only one who gets to act like that. Hello, how's it going? Saba, what's up? No worries, Omar. There should be an emoji with a $sign on it. I think they say it's on the bottom right. My screen looks different from yours. But you're able to add your question into the super chat. For those of you that have done a super chat, if you are able to provide some additional context for Omar, I appreciate it. Hi, Bree. I'm not going to go too specific because this is a general reading, okay? What else do we have? Three of Swords in the reverse and the Four of Cups. So in order for things to be made right, we have somebody that is feeling a sense of rejection. Again, this could be a relationship that's ending, or this could be someone who's losing their job, but they're being like, in their life, they're feeling a sense of loss because they overreached, because they assumed too much. Did I say hello to Keek and Sholer? What's happening? Two of Wands in the reverse. They did not expect this outcome. They felt like they were going to get what they wanted. So it's kind of like if you were playing poker and you did not actually have a good hand, but you really wanted to take all of the money in the pot. You were like, gosh, that could like pay for all my bills right there. I'm just gonna pretend that I have an excellent hand, and I'm real good at making it seem like I have more going on than I really do. And this person's gonna fall for it, and then I'm gonna get all that money. It'll be great. Nope. They took a bet that they shouldn't have, or they placed a bet that they shouldn't have, and now they're losing it all. Ooh, what was that old movie? So, I think it was one of Helena Bonham Carter's very first movies. I don't remember what it's called, but the daughter ends up being given away in marriage because her father had a gambling issue and bet the whole property and apparently his daughter while he was gambling. But this is someone who's losing everything because they went too far. The Chariot in the reverse. Now I don't know how to move forward. Now I'm, without a job, or now I'm getting kicked out and I need to find a place to stay. I've got to start over from the very beginning after I put in all of this work and effort. Hello, Rachel. Happy Monday. What else do we have? Ace of Pentacles in the reverse and the Ten of Cups. Somewhere in this story is probably your element, or it could be a group of people, a family, co-workers, friends, but we have some people just kind of like sitting on the sideline like, oh, well, I guess that's what happens when you fly too close to the sun. I guess that's what happens when you place an all-in bet and you have a pair of threes. Oops. Ace of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, it's like there's some people here who are witnessing, okay, it's going to be fine now. That person who was going a little bit crazy has been escorted off the premises and they did not win what they thought they were going to win. All right, this is the Dragon's Tarot. No worries, Rachel. Hello, Malakaya, how are you doing? Hello, Dana, how are you? What else do we have, please? Five of Wands in the reverse, Knight of Chalices or Knight of Cups in the reverse, and Temperance. So peace is being restored and a tyrant or someone with a big ego is being told to sit down. Take a seat. You thought you could just like come in here and change everything, or you know, you were like the coolest thing since sliced bread, but now we're letting you know your card has been revoked. We're letting you know that you're getting kicked out of the neighborhood, or you don't get to be a key holder anymore. You cannot be trusted, and therefore you're gonna have to start over. Whatever you thought you had accomplished is being eradicated because you were getting a little too big for your britches. Queen of Wands in the reverse and the Page of Wands. So there's a new chapter starting. For some of you, this is because you are no longer going to be dealing with someone who's incredibly egotistical in a romantic relationship. For others of you, you're getting a new boss, or someone else is taking over and you're not going to have to deal with that, you know, ridiculous expectation or someone who's trying to control you all the time. So this Page of Wands card has a sense of hope, right? And the Hierophant. There's destruction in this picture, which normally we don't see in the Hierophant. And yet also a sense of hope. Okay, so things have maybe taken a little bit of a tumble, but we're going to rebuild. We're going to bring it back to what it was, or we're going to reestablish that peace that was there. Thank you for the star, Delinia. Hello, Carrie. How are you doing today? Knight of Pentacles in the reverse and the King of Cups. So the real boss, which could actually be you, is reestablishing their control over the dominion, right? Things got a little crazy. You know, we had a babysitter in here that didn't know what they were doing, or we had someone who was substitute for a day and they assigned all of this homework and it was ridiculous. But we're about to reestablish balance, and the person who was grabbing for too much power, they're being sent on their way. They're being sent packing. See you later. No, thank you. We don't want any of that. Hello, Mr. F. How are you doing? Hello, Brenda. Thank you, Gerline. Let me know if you've got a question. I've got your name added to the list. When will Chandan pay my money back? Ooh. Do you want that second part to be a question? Whether or not you need to ask HR? That's true, Shayla. All right, let's get a few from... I can hardly see you, so let's do this one. This is What's the News. Sounds good, Gerlene. Thank you for the tip. That sounds like a good dream, Mr. Up. All right, what else do we have? Fed up, over it, not having it, frustrated, and new boo. So the new boo card has some romantic undertones, obviously, but keep in mind this new energy could also be aligned with a new boss or a new employee or a new path. There's something here that has changed, kind of like those railroad tracks that can shift between two different tracks. And it's because someone took liberties with their situation or the power that they had been given, the relationship that they were in, and now we have new energy coming in. Rebuilding, if you will, because those secrets had been exposed. I know what you did last summer. I'm not a fan. It's been red flagged, and now you're gonna have to start over. Oh, it's like that sometimes, Barbara. And I hope you're having a good day so far. Fuego, chemistry, intense passion. Things are heating up and lift off. Fast action, progression forward. The wait is over. So difficult times have maybe had a little bit of like a scorched earth situation. But you know, if you have that scorched earth situation happening, that's also sometimes the most fertile land that you can plant a new crop or garden. So we have someone rebuilding. That didn't work out. You couldn't handle that control, or you couldn't handle being in that relationship or in that role. You gotta go. And this new person's coming in and they're working out great. Or the person who is gone on medical leave or whatever, they're back in town and they're doing it right. Hello, Candles and Waves. How are you doing? I'd be happy to help you. You can see, well, you see it as Daniel, but I know it's Dana. There's a super chat right below your message. You can do a super chat and decide how much you want to tip and include your question in that. Otherwise, I will just remind you all, once I hit 25,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a live stream with some free personal questions at the end. Let me write down Dana's question real quick, y'all. Archive messages from Bond got deleted. That's not good. How did it happen? Anything I need to know from Spirit? Why does the old neighbor dislike me and Dan? I've added that for you. Thank you, Dana. That's funny, Malakia. All right, so what else do we have? This is the Connolly Tarot. This person who thought they could take more than they were entitled to is being shown the door. A new chapter is starting. There's a new boss in town, a new sheriff in town, or there's a new relationship taking root. So we have transition from dark to light, right? Thank you, Shayla. Let me add that for you. Is this party going to be a success? I sure hope so. All right. So I love this because this is actually the death card in the Connolly Tarot. But too often people get terrified when they see that death card and assume that it's just literally somebody who's dying. But it is a transition, right? So this is a focus on difficult times, allowing for new prosperous things to happen after the person who took too many liberties with you or with the situation or the role is booted. Let me scroll here real quick. I know candles. I need to know if I can trust this new woman in my energy. Can I trust new woman in my energy? I've added that for you. Thank you, candles. So when you hit silent, it isn't silent? Is that what you're saying? It could be on your end, key controller. I don't know if anyone else has that same issue, but if you can, thank you, Shayla. Sometimes there are audio glitches, and if you restart the reading or go back and then come back in, I guess, it goes away. I find most of the time the audio issues are that way, but sometimes it's me. All right, so we have the Emperor in the reverse and the Ten of Wands. So difficult times are being ended. A chapter is closing. That's part of the reason we had the World card at the beginning, right? Yeah, you started your battle, you know, created some chaos, and now there's a divorce, so I can get away from you. Or now there's someone getting fired because you cannot be trusted. You thought you could run this like your own little thing, and it's not. Hello, Erin. How are you doing? So there's a new chapter starting. Two of Wands. Plans are being made. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. And new rules being set up. Okay, so I learned something from that relationship or from dealing with that person. I don't want to deal with that again. So how am I going to do things differently? Sounds good, Keith. What else do we have? King of Pentacles in the reverse. Nine of Cups in the reverse. So the person with the ego the size of Texas, they're being encouraged to learn a lesson through loss. You had everything that you wanted and you squandered it or you lost it because you got selfish. You could have been happy with what you had, a great relationship or a great job, but you got grabby, you did too much. So now is the time for this person with the ego to learn a different approach, and probably they're learning this lesson at a distance from you because you don't need to be dealing with them anymore because you've earned the right to a little bit of distance between this person and you. Yes, thank you for the likes and the subscribes. They mean a lot to me. A gigantic cowboy hat. That works. This is the Gilded Reverie, and then after this, we're going to start on those personal questions. So we have the Sun and the Mountain. I reached a little bit too far. I thought I was a little bit too awesome, and the fact is that I'm not. There's things that I need to learn. Maybe this is someone who thought they were always the smartest person in the room. And when you start thinking that you're the smartest person in the room, that's pretty much when you're going to be taught a really difficult lesson, because we never know where our next lesson is going to come from. You might learn something really important from a 5-year-old or from someone who's, 20 years younger than you. So we have this time of examination and reflection that is being demanded of this person with an ego. You're going to sit there in that corner. You're going to think about what you've done. Because you got a little bit too crazy, got a little bit too selfish. We have the man without a shirt. It doesn't mean that this has to be a man, but it does mean that we have somebody who felt like they had control, right? And then the mice, which indicates loss. They lost what they had because they did not value it, or because they did not think they needed to do right by others. And now we have the woman without, a shirt. Sorry, guys. And the stork. There's a new beginning here for the people that had to deal with this egotistical person. Now we don't have to report to someone who's a jerk. Yay! All right, let's dive in on those personal questions. Thank you again for the likes and the subscribes. Hello, Jessica. How are you doing? I like the typo. All right, so we've got 8-Bit, and then Gerline, Dana, and then Sheila, and then Candles. All right, so for 8-Bit, what is in store for 8-Bit this week, please? What is in store for 8-Bit this week, please? King of Cups, Page of Swords, King of Wands, Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, and the Tower. There's going to be someone who is communicating with you this week, and they're going to tell you about something not going the way they wanted it to. Now, on like a small scale, this could be someone saying, hey, I know I told you that I would have your car all fixed up and ready for you to pick up on Wednesday, but I found something else that was wrong, gonna need to order a part, and now it's gonna actually be Friday. But on a grander scale, this could be, we thought we were gonna be able to, offer you that new job or that promotion and start you on the 1st, but that's getting delayed. There is some sort of delay or a little bit of a disappointment being conveyed that basically makes you have to alter your schedule or shift things around. It's unexpected, anxiety, because someone has encountered something they weren't planning on seeing or dealing with. But with the Empress in the reverse and the Moon in the reverse, I feel like there is a little bit of exaggeration here. So it feels like we've got someone who didn't do right by their responsibilities, and they're trying to place all of the responsibility on the situation as opposed to taking, responsibility for that. I feel like 8-Bit, this is someone who is telling you about this, not you having to deliver the negative news. This could have to do with work. This could have to do with your living situation. But you're going to get clarity on what actually happened after they tell you what's going on. So to go along with that, like, car analogy, if they were telling you, oh, we discovered that there's something else that needs to be addressed, didn't think it was going to happen, maybe you end up realizing that the reason this additional repair is required is because they took the wrong approach to their diagnostics. There's something here where it's like, I'm telling you some not great news and attributing it to like circumstance or how, the way things are. But I'm not being honest with you about the fact that I may have had a part to play in that situation. Hello, Khadijah. How are you doing? Hello, Carson. Anything else for 8-bit, please? So there's communication coming to you that is like somebody trying to place the blame on circumstance and not on their own doing or their own approach to the situation. You are going to get resolution. So initially this is like, well, that sucks. I don't like that. I don't want to pay more, or I don't want to wait longer, or I don't want to, have to figure out how to go without $500 for the next 2 weeks, whatever it is. There's going to be some sort of follow-up that is positive. Like, hey, so I know I told you you're going to need to pay for that extra part because it was also broken. But I looked at the situation and talked to my colleague and realized it was because someone did it wrong. So I'm not going to charge you the labor. I'm not going to charge you for that part. There's going to be like a part 2. And it's going to almost like negate the bad news. So this is saying don't get too uppity or frustrated over some not great news coming in. I feel like it's eventually going to be upgraded. Like, hey, there was actually someone who did something wrong and we're going to cover that for you. Or, hey, we thought that this was going to be something you had to pay for, you had to deal with, but the reality is we've got someone else who can cover that. So bad news is going to be like upgraded to, it's a little bit of a delay, but it could have been worse. Give it a little bit of time and that negative update is going to get better. So don't overreact or don't get too frustrated with the situation. It's going to get better. Anything else for 8-bit, please? For this next week. We have the Star, the Queen of Swords, and the reverse. The Hanged Man and the Sun. On a separate issue, we have someone who's going through some healing regarding an argument that you had, and they see things from your perspective. This is someone who lost their temper with you. Could be last week, it could have been, 5 years ago. But this is someone who is seeing things from your perspective and realizing that they were unfair. So is this person going to apologize? They're contemplating. They're at the stoplight where they have to make the decision, right or left. This is someone who wants to figure out how to convey that they were wrong, and they don't know the right way to do it. Like, do I call you? Do I send you a postcard? Do I send you an email? But I feel like I need to tell you that you were right. Y'all are making me hungry. That's not fair. So there's someone coming back who you probably haven't heard from for a while or since an argument, and they're going to be like, hey, so like, that was my bad. I should have handled it differently. Whoops. So that's good. They're learning, and they want you to know that they see it differently now. They just have to figure out how to convey it to you. That's what they're stuck on right now. All right, let's see what we've got for Gerline. This is the Dali Tarot, and 8-bit. I'm wishing a very awesome week for you. Hello, Marcus. How are you doing? Did I say hello to Carla? Hello. Hello, Rolling Thunder. What's up? No problems, 8-bit. Thanks for being you. For Gerline, when will Chandan pay Gerline's money back, please? When will Chandan pay back the money owed to Gerline? 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords in the reverse. Was this within a week? This is saying within a week. I see someone like stretching to make it work. Is this because they're already planning to do this? No. Is this because HR gets involved? Yes. I do think that you need to contact HR. So we have the 9 of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups. There's someone else who gets involved here and says, hi, excuse me, this money needs to be paid to Girly. But I do feel like once you contact that third party or that HR component, that things move quickly. Like, hey, we're not just gonna forget about this. This is important money that needs to be refunded or paid back. 10 of Pentacles. So this could just be somebody who, like, until you tell them to make their bed, they're not going to make their bed. Or this would be the kind of person who doesn't use their turn signal. Once someone else is involved and they're like, fine, if I must. I don't really want to, but I guess I will. But it's a fairly quick turnaround once you involve HR. They're going to be grumbly about it. They're going to be irritable. Maybe they're going to be like, I owe you $250. Here's $249. What? Are you going to say something about it? It's like almost all of it. There's going to be something a little snarky here. Either like the way they look at you, or I'm going to send it at like 11:59 when I owe it by midnight. You know what I mean? But they're going to pay you back. They're waiting until someone tells them, like, okay, you have to do that or I'm going to hurt you. You got to do that. You've broken the rules. But you'll get it back. And I hope you get a little extra, like a little interest on it. That would be my wish for you. Thank you, Gerline, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Let's see what we've got for Dana. We're gonna, oh golly. Did I shake the camera a little bit? We're gonna go with the lucid dreams for you, Dana. There were archived messages from Bon that were somehow deleted. How did these messages get deleted? Was this a technical glitch? I see like competing commands. So if we're looking at this from a technology standpoint, it's like one thing was telling me to save these messages and one was telling me I need this space deleted. So I don't know if you did like a software upgrade or if there's something like on the back end, but I feel like this was erroneous or a mistake tied to the technology itself. Hello, Burton, how are you doing? How's the conveyor training? Going to go for me? Question mark? The company is sending me to Indiana in August. I've added that for you. Thank you, Burton. So just to confirm, this was not someone who accessed Dana's phone, correct? Correct. Because initially I was worried because you had said that the earlier phone you had been stolen, but this is like a technical glitch. Something to do with like a software upgrade or someone, you know, sending a command that they shouldn't have. So are these messages retrievable? They might be. So will she get these messages back? It's like kind of giving me 50-50. We've got the 5 of Cups in the reverse. The High Priestess in the reverse. It's like if someone realizes that they had an issue here, they might be able to restore. what was erroneously deleted. Anything that Dana can do. May I assume, Dana, that you have done like a reboot? I don't always feel like that does much, but sometimes it can draw back data. You may also want to try communicating with the provider. But I feel like there's something here that enables you to potentially get these messages back. We have the World, the Queen of Cups, and the Page of Wands in reverse. But there seems to be some action required from you to be able to get that back. Hello, Ezio, how are you doing? Hello, GEP, what's up? Grave Encounters. That just makes me think about how I really want to go to a cemetery in a Tesla and see if I see any ghosts in their little video thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? Hello, Mark. How are you doing? I don't know who you're talking to, but I hope the person who's intended for that gets that. Hello, Dino. How are you doing? You're offering me a place to stay? No, I'm good. I literally just moved in. Hello, Gloria. How are you doing? Yes. So, Dana, this is suggesting contact customer service. Maybe it's as simple as chat, but there's data that's been missing or has gone missing. Is there a way to reclaim it? But it may be one of those things where if you contact within a certain time frame, you can actually get the data back. But if you take too long, you know? Yeah, no, Mark, I view that as pretty creepy. I don't know who you are. So please don't do that. That's weird. I just moved into a new place and I like it. So we have the Two of Swords and the Hermit in the reverse. Yeah, I see there being a limited amount of time where you can get that data back, but it's possible. You may have to talk to like second tier. The entry level customer service peeps might be like, no, you can't. But I feel like it's some sort of change that happened on the back end that impacted the storage. All right. Let's see. And good luck to you, Dana. I hope you get that back. I know that can be frustrating. Yes, exactly. Thank you for contributing that, JCH. Okay, so it was saved by somebody else. I would think there's still retention there too. Yes, it is. Well, that's awesome, Grave Encounters. Let me know if you need a psychic. All right. Dana, I hope you get your information back. I'll be crossing my fingers for you. Let's see what we've got for Shayla. Oh my. Oop, let me write this down. Hello, Ezio. Thank you for the tip. What do I need to know to overcome current challenges? Thank you, Ezio. I've added that for you. Shayla, I've got the Cagliostro Tarot for you. Spiders are usually the good guys, right? They eat the stuff you really don't want in your house. All right, is the party that Shayla's referring to going to be a success? Is this party going to be a success? Is this party going to be a success? Yes, it's going to be a success. Oh, I like this. We even have the Chariot, which specifically says victory and triumph on it. I don't know if you can read it. It's backwards and a little fuzzy. And you might have also seen that the Chariot Sphinxes have boobies, which is, of course, closely associated with success and victory. And then we have the King of Swords, or the King of Spades, which says high authority. I like this. So there's protective energy around this party, and yes, it is going to be a victory or a success. And then we have the Popess. Intelligence and glory. So it looks to me like things are planned well. But with the Death card, you need to know when to cut it off, when to send people home. I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to. Where I went to school, there was a fraternity where when they threw parties and they were ready for everyone to leave, they would play a specific song and take their clothes off as a way of saying, okay, now get out. I'm not suggesting that you use that strategy at all. But this is saying you need to know when the party's over, or when things need to be like lights turned on. What's that one song? Closing time. You know, like you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You gotta know when to cut that off and end the party. Hello, Erasable. How you doing today? Thank you, Grave Encounters. I appreciate you. I might have to check out your channel. So we also have the Six of Swords. There's gonna be some opportunity discussed at this party for travel. And is this a good thing? No, the travel opportunity is not as good as it sounds. So the initial response should be, maybe next time. But right now, no. Maybe there's an after party, and maybe it's best to do that the next time. Hello, JR. How are you doing? Oh, you want me to call you Kira? Wow. All right, all right. Well, I hope it goes well. That's a long time to plan. Okay. That's fair, Kira. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. All right. Shayla, I hope it goes exceedingly well. Let's see what we've got for candles. Candles, we're going to go with the Royal Fez or the Moroccan Tarot. Can I trust the new woman in my energy? 4 candles. Can candles trust the new woman in my energy, in their energy? No. Maybe for one thing or, 3 things, but in general, no. This is someone who likes to present themselves as moral or principled. I do this, I do that. I'm getting a little bit of like a, you know how people will do something generous and then they'll brag about it to other people? I personally get like I bristle at that. Like, do the kind, generous things without feeling like you need to like brag about it, right? This is someone who likes to brag about the good things that they have done because they want to be known for that, and they want to distract from some of the lesser problematic type choices that they make. But we have the Tower and the King of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is someone who actually causes instability and a little bit of chaos, but they do good works here and there to try to cover up their true energy and make it seem like they are quite awesome. So we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords in the reverse. So they hide much of their true character and like create billboards of here's the times that I did good stuff. So you're being encouraged to pull back or be a bit reserved with your energy, because this would be somebody who tells you what they think you want to hear. You're going to see evidence of this like braggadocious type energy, or the fact that they're hiding who they really are. And when you make a decision to pull back, they're going to try to do something nice for you. Oh, well, what do you mean you don't want to come to, have dinner with me? But I was going to take you to a really nice, like, steak dinner. They're going to try to, like, entice you back. And I don't think it's worth it. Like, oh, that's a really nice steak dinner there, but then I have to deal with somebody who's going to be lying to me, right? Yes, thank you for the likes and the subscribes. I appreciate you. So be cautious, candles. Is there better energy around candles aside from this woman? Half and half. You got some good energy, you got some questionable people around you, but the important thing is your intuition is improving. Eight of Swords in the reverse. So I feel like part of the reason you're asking is because you've seen something that you don't necessarily like from this new woman. You're trusting your intuition more and more, and it's going to become more trustworthy, or you're like honing that skill, right? No worries, Grave Encounters. Maybe this will be some inspiration for you. Hello, sweet Scorpio. What's up? Key controller, mistake dinner. I like that. That works. All right, what should we go with? We're gonna go with the Touchstone Tarot. I wish you luck, candles. Trust your intuition. We got Burton up next. How will the conveyor training go in August for Burton, please? How will the conveyor training go for Burton in August? How will the conveyor training go for Burton in August? We have the Eight of Wands, Ten of Wands in the reverse, Knight of Swords, the Lovers, and the Five of Coins. So there's something about information moving very quickly. So it's like when I was in school, I was the type that always wanted to take very detailed notes by hand, because when I write something out, then I commit it to memory, or I have a better chance of recalling it. This is saying you need to do some prep work before you go to the conveyor training, because whoever is teaching you what you need to know at this training, it's like they rush through it. Think about it. If you're explaining to someone how to wash dishes, you're going to be like, I've done this so many times. I don't feel like it's that like big of a deal. You squirt the soap, you get the sponge, you scrub, and then you put it over here, and then you dry it. And this person who's going to be teaching, I feel like they don't appreciate that for some people, this is new information. So they're just like, I want to get through this as quickly as I can so I can get home to my cat. I get it, you know? I mean, you want to hang out with your cat. Your cat's probably meowing while you're not there and like missing you. This teacher is not a great teacher. The trainer wants to get things done as quickly as possible, and unfortunately that means that there are multiple people who are not going to retain the information that they need to. So if you're able to take notes, take notes. If you're able to record, record. If you're able to do some advanced research, looking things up before you go, that's going to be very helpful. So you have this decision that you can make with the Lovers. And it looks like you've already been thinking about it, to look things up beforehand. Get like the 101 under your belt. Get it? That's a pun because you're talking about a conveyor. I would imagine that's a conveyor belt. You can do a little 101 before. If you do that, you're going to be leagues above the other people who are in that training. So please do that. Because otherwise this person's going to be like, and then you do this, and then you do that, and then you do this. Any questions? Okay, bye. And you're gonna be like, I'm sorry, what? I did not have enough time to retain that information. So doing a little bit of prep work will absolutely make it better. Have a great rest of your day, Shay. But you are smart, Burton. I believe in you. You just need to expect the trainer to kind of be doing a little bit of like 50 to 60% of what they should be doing for people. All right, let's see what we've got for EZO. We're gonna go with the Spanish Tarot. Yes, you got this. Thank you for the flower, Sacred. I hope you're having a wonderful day. For EZO, what does EZO need to know to overcome the current challenges, please? Three of Wands in the reverse, King of Cups, Two of Cups. You have an unexpected friend or someone who's like on your side, someone who maybe you'll get closer to, somebody who speaks positively on your behalf. And for some reason, I feel like this is someone who doesn't really like a lot of people. So what I'm seeing is my favorite boss in all the land. His name is Jason. I haven't seen him in a long time because I moved away, of course, but he was prickly. He was not easy to get along with, okay? I say that kind of cautiously. Like, you had to kind of like earn his respect, right? He's not just gonna be handing out respect like it's a lollipop. And when you're in that inner circle, or when he sees that you have like a good work ethic, or you know, you got a good sense of humor, or you genuinely care, whatever it is, then it's like, okay, you're in my little group here, right? And I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna promote you. I'm gonna give you little lessons and tidbits. But there were definitely days where I'd be like, Jason, could you just be like a little bit nicer? Do you have to be a jerk? I'm debating telling you one of the funniest things he used to do. I'm just gonna tell you. He used to crop dust me when I was talking to customers. You know what crop dusting is? It's not very nice, but he thought it was hilarious. Anyways, like I said, my favorite boss, but he was difficult. There's someone like that here, EZO. Someone who does not like most people. Someone who's just kind of like, whatever, but they like you. And even though other people may not like this person, or even though you may think this person doesn't really have a chance of liking you, they're going to take you under their wing, or they're going to have your back. This is someone who's going to give you insight that is very valuable, or they're going to show you like a better way to do it. It's like if you were playing a video game, they're gonna be sitting next to you and be like, there's like a hidden bonus right there. Yeah, you should, nope, jump right there, yep. And then there's a door, you got it. There's someone here who's gonna help you. They're not liked by everyone, or they don't like a lot of people, but they like you. This person's gonna be rooting for you or giving you like, you know, the cheat codes. Giving you good advice. This person cares about you and wants to see you successful, or wants to see you get through the difficult things. So I don't think you're necessarily expecting to have this person who wants to make sure you're good, but they've been through something similar and they don't want you to get like set back. Hello, Crabman. I suppose it depends on how you mean, but I have delivered messages from folks who have passed on before. It honestly has a lot to do with whether or not they want to communicate. You're welcome, Candles. Oh, you're totally fine. I'm glad it was helpful for you. So, Ezio, you've got somebody who's going to assist you. They've been through something similar, or they know what you're going through. And even though you may not expect them to be like, you know, a bestie, they're looking out for you. They want to see you do well. All right, I'm hungry. I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes. Thank you for hyping if you're able to, and I will see you on the next reading.